Hello, dear students. Continuing with the next topic of compiler design, which is the most important topic, which is code generation. This is Professor R. A. Agrawal here. We will discuss this code generation and the various issues related to code generation today. Okay, so let's begin. So here today we will discuss that what are code generation, what is the importance of code generation, and what is the need, why code generation plays a very important role in the life cycle or of compiler design. Okay, then we will see what are the various issues which are related to code generation. Next, we will see what are the various target languages issues, because many languages are high level programming languages. We will see what are the different issues faced by these languages while translating a source program into machine level program by using code generation. And in the last we will discuss about addresses in the target code. We shall begin. See, code generation is one of the very important phase of compiler design. See, before this we have seen various phases such as lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, intermediate code generation, and the most important is code optimization, which we have already discussed. So this code generation is the final phase of the compiler design. Here we have to generate the code which has been followed by these 6 steps: lexical, syntax, semantic, intermediate, code optimization, etc. So why this phase is important? Because it is dealing with all the outputs received from each and every phase previously, such as lexical. The whatever the processing has been done in lexical was given to syntax, then it has been processed, given to semantic, then the output of semantic was given as an intermediate code representation, then the output of intermediate code was given to semantic code optimization, and then we have performed various code optimization techniques on that, and finally we send the data to the code generation algorithm. So if you see this diagram over here, the source program is given to the front end, which is nothing but the lexical, syntax, and semantic. Then from that we calculate the intermediate code, but intermediate code is having a lot of problems, such as it has more number of use of temporary variables, which is degrading the performance of the code. It takes more memory because more use of temporary variables, so it will take more amount of memory, that will result in decreasing the efficiency of the code. So there is a need of code optimization on the intermediate code. So after performing, we have seen various code optimization techniques in the previous lectures. So by applying those techniques on this intermediate code, we will finally go give that to code generator. Once we give that to code generator, it will convert that source program, and which is converted into various steps. The output of that will be the target program. So it will produce a semantically equivalent target program. This means that whatever the program output will generate, its meaning will never change. Whatever is the meaning, it will be constant for every programming. What are the main tasks over here is to for instruction selection, register allocation and assignment, and instruction ordering. These three are the main important tasks for code generation. Instruction selection we will discuss one by one this. Okay. Where this instruction selection and all will play their role will be the design of the code generator. But there are several issues, because this we are using the very high level programming languages. So these high level programming languages sometimes generate some issues in the designing of a code generator. So what are those issues? Totally there are 5 issues. First one is the input to the code generator. Second one is the target program. Third one, instruction sharing. Fourth, register allocation, and fifth one is the evaluation order of an expression. We'll see one by one. So what are the first issue is that the first issue is the input to the code generator. We have seen that input to the code generator. Third one is the complexity of mapping of instructions. See, choosing an instruction is depending on the user. So here code which will be generated will be generated on the various types of mathematical functions which are used by the user during the computation of the program. These mathematical functions may vary, but with the output of these functions will be the same. Example, if you try to calculate the factorial of a number in a high level programming language, there can be alternative way to calculate a factorial, but the answer will always be remaining the same. Example. So what are the important steps of instruction selection is the level of the intermediate representation. Which level of intermediate representation was followed. The nature of the instruction set architecture. Definitely we are following the RISC architecture. And the desired quality of code generated. This depends on the user and its coding ability. Okay. So let us see one few examples regarding this. Suppose consider the statement x equals to y plus z. This is the statement. Okay. Now when we perform this statement, first we have to load y, then load z, and then add y plus z, and then store that into x. See, so this is a three-step procedure. Again, if you consider this, a equals to b plus c. Again you have to load b, add c to b, and then store the result in a. So again d equals to a plus c. Again you have to add d equals to a plus e. Again you have to load a, then add e, and then store the result in d. So this is how the instructions are being evaluated, and this instruction evaluated will definitely require some algorithm and some time during execution. Okay. Fourth one is the register allocation. There are two sub problems and two important types in this. First one is the register allocation and the second one is the register assignment. Register allocation is nothing but it is selecting the best and the set of variables that will reside in register at each point of time in the program. We have to select the best variables. Okay, because if more number of temporary variables are selected, they will occupy memory, resulting in the decreasing the efficiency of the code. So we will select the set of variables which are the best and which will reside in the register at each point in the program. Second one is register assignment, that is selecting the specific register that a variable residing in. Okay, selecting specific register that a variable will reside in. See, these are having the complication based on some hardware architecture. See, some models in if we try to compute the assembly level programming or basic programming, then they use the CISC architecture. So there are certain complications which are being imposed by this those hardware architecture. But nowadays we generally use the RISC architecture, so we go for only we don't face such problems. See, we will discuss one more example to understand this register allocation concept more beautifully. That suppose there are two high level operations, that is first one is multiplication and second one is division. So if we have a statement like this, t equals to a plus b, t equals to t multiplied by c, and t equals to this one. Again we have to follow that, load a, then add b, and then store the result in this of a and b in some temporary variable, and then again load c, then multiply that value of c with the temporary variable t, and then finally perform division and then store it in the final any one of the register. So this requires a lot of complex operation. Here you can see that first we are performing the addition, then multiplication, division, and finally the assignment. So these operations will definitely increase the execution time because they are not the basic, they are the time consuming operations. Similarly, if you see for this is the same, but some another the next one is the evaluation order. The order in which the computation are performed can affect the efficiency of the target code. Example, the order of evaluation is very important. See, during the first pass scanning of a compiler, we make use of all the branching statement, jumping statement, case statement, looping statement. If we use this statement, then we in the first pass itself we calculate their addresses. Okay. See, if these addresses are not computed in the first pass, then they will take a lot of time during the output of the second. They will take a lot of time during getting the output of the second pass. So that is why, as a good programming technique, these addresses has to be calculated in the first pass itself. Okay, which is a good programming technique. So evaluation order is very important, and the performance of the code generation algorithm depends on this exact use of this evaluation order. Okay, if we are not selecting the evaluation order properly, the then the output may vary and we will get a non effective output although you have performed all the steps clearly. Okay, so this is what was regarding the issues in the code generation. So there are totally 5 issues which we have studied. Okay, so this is all about the code generation, but supporting to this we have again a simple target model, which is very important to take into consideration for understanding this. That simple target model have various operations such as load operation, store operation, computational operation, unconditional jumps, which we have just discussed, conditional jumps. So these 5 operations plays a very important role during the execution because these are actually the operation which are to be performed. Okay, definitely we will make use of the addressing modes, which are again one of the important part of the execution cycle. So your addressing modes, the quality and the good quality of addressing modes will definitely help in producing good quality code. Okay, so addressing mode also there are in the variable name, index addresses, integer addresses, indirect addresses mode, direct addresses mode, immediate addressing mode. These all we have already discussed, but just a brief and see we can see how this instructions cost can be calculated. If a single variable instruction of R1 has to be loaded, then it is costing 1. If you calculate from memory, load a value from memory M, then it will cost 2 because searching will 1 and loading will be 1. So search plus load equals to 1 plus 1 equals to 2. In the third one, R2 value 100 value 1, and then multiplying it with R1 will 1, means 1 plus 1 plus 1 will give you totally cost as 3. Next one is the unconditional jump 3 address instruction. See, these all has to be calculated in the intermediate code representation time itself, because during code generation if we try to perform this conditional jump, then it will definitely take more time in order to search all this, and it will definitely decrease the performance of the code. So these all things we have already discussed in intermediate code representation, but still they have to be evaluated. What are the addresses that has to be taken into consideration in the target code is, first one is the statically determined area, which is your code. The code is a static code which we are creating. Then the next is the next to Next one is the first one is the statically area is the code. Next one is the static allocation. Next one is the heap, and next one is the stack. These are the three storage allocation techniques which we use for code generation. Okay, first one is static, second one heap, and third one is stack. In static, we have seen what are the drawbacks with static. In heap allocation, the heap grows from top to bottom, and it is at every level the value of heap will rapidly increase. As compared to stack we know that it is only growing in one direction. Okay, but it will be a one of the static technique. It will not go rapidly as that of an heap, so it has to be noted. So next is, whenever we make use of this conditional statement, we use the call and return procedure as we have discussed in previous subroutine topic. So whenever we are executing a function, we have to call a callee. A function will be called. That function will be executed, and after the execution of that function, return will be uh, the control will be returned to the next line where the function was initiated, where the call function was initiated. If entire thing is then done, then we can either halt, either you want you can perform any action, either you can again call, either you can suspend, either you can delete. Okay, so if we consider some iteration statements where we have to repeatedly call a function again and again, then we can call the callee n number of times. After performing all the execution, we will halt. Consider this is a code. See here, if we consider this code, it will initialize the stack, first one, then it will initialize the stack, then the code for the first procedure, whatever the code is, it will have to be executed, and then it will be halt. And next one is the incrementing, then save the return addresses. Wherever you want, you can save the return addresses, then you have to return back to the caller, that is where the function or where the procedure was being called. So this is how we initialize, we call, we return, and we halt, okay, in stack allocation. So here you can see that here you can see that action 1 is called, then call queue. Here queue code for queue will be available in memory, then you can directly go over there, return back to that. Action 2 will be called, so then halt, then action 3, and return. Similarly, n number of targets, n number of procedures, n number of subroutine which are being used during execution can be called. They will be executed. After successful executed, we will be returning back to the previous one. Here you can see, by using addresses, names, and value of addresses also we will see in the first line itself, initialize the stack. Here first we will initialize, then code for action, then add action 1, then add the value, call sequences, then push the return addresses, then call queue. This is nothing but we are showing just how the call and return sequences are processed in a stack allocation technique. Same here also. So I hope today you have studied the various issues in code generation, why code generation is essential, what is the importance of code generation algorithm, and why code generation is effective as compared to the efficiency of a code compiler is considered. So that is the important part of code compiler phases. The last part is the code generation. So I hope you have understood. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.